Hey guys, it is Charles Almighty Wraith of Game Warriors Gaming for a Cause. I'm here in the War Room. We just got back from our fourth trip to Memphis in 3 weeks for St. Jude's. I want to start off by apologizing. I know that we ended 2019 with the promises of more videos and events and everything, and we kind of stalled out. But if you've been following our Facebook page, you kind of know why. I want to say thank you for your patience and support through this. So this is a special edition of Unscripted, and I'm going to try to get through this the best I can. So I attempted to do this this past week, and my wife's laptop crashed, and so here we are trying it again. So a little backstory. So in around November of 2018, my son Connor fell from a trampoline, caught himself, injuring his left shoulder. And we did heat and ice therapy and stretching it and everything else, and it seemed to be fine. He was able to resume normal activity, or at least normal for him. VR games, sparring with swords and or wooden swords. Let me clarify that: wooden swords, and other typical stuff. So we really didn't think too much more about it. And then it would bother him every once in a while, and he'd do what he was, what I taught him to do, and everything would be fine. And then, we moved mid 2019. He helped us, and this table behind me that you see the corner of is our gaming table. He helped me move it, and that's not an easy feat. So we really, like I said, we really didn't put a whole lot of worry into it up until November of 2019. And me and my wife came home, and we were greeted by him asking what took us so long, because we were supposed to be here at a certain time. And he informed us that his left shoulder had given out, and that he had ended up doubling over in pain. Well, and he tried doing what I told him to do with the ice or at least the heat part of it. He got in a hot shower and soaked it, let the hot water run over, and it helped a little bit. So we moved it around. Me and him, and we tried moving it to figure out what kind of range he had and the level of pain. And I could tell almost immediately that something didn't feel right, and I could tell by the look on his face that he had, it was very sensitive and very little movement before it started hurting. So my wife called and was trying to deal with insurance and getting him into the doctor and everything else. And by the time we got all that done, it was the Thursday before Christmas. And so what is that? I want to say the 19th or whatever. So she took him to Ruston, and they did some x-rays and everything. And from the x-ray, they were a little concerned, and they wanted to do an MRI. So when they did the MRI, or set up the MRI, because it was so late in the day, and again, insurance, they weren't able to do it that day. And then we didn't hear nothing back from them until that Monday, so the 23rd. And she took him back down there for the MRI and everything else. And I figured with the holidays coming up and everything, it wouldn't be until after the first of the year that we actually heard anything back. So after they got done with the MRI, they rushed back to Minden, and we we went and did our Healing Hearts thing, where we delivered the toys to kids in the hospitals in the Shreveport-Bossier area, at least a couple hospitals. And Connor was just Spider-Man and everything. He had a good time. His shoulder was a little sore and everything, but we did it. And so the next day was Christmas Eve, and then Christmas. So again, we weren't expecting to get any calls until probably the 30th or whatever. Well, on the 26th, day after Christmas, I was getting ready for work, and Sonia called me and told me I needed to bring Connor with me. That they had to go back to Ruston. That the doctor had called, and he wanted us to come in and discuss Connor's results. And immediately, that kind of made my heart sink a little bit, because usually when a doctor calls you and tells you to come in to discuss the results, it's not a good thing. So we were shorthanded at work and everything, so I went ahead and went to work. Plus, the doctor's office had a rule about one parent and everything, and so I went ahead and go to work and told Sonia to call me as soon as they found out something. So while I was working and everything else, and my phone went off, and I pretty much immediately could tell from the tone of Sonia's voice that it wasn't good. And then she said that we were going to more than likely go to Memphis, to a hospital, and I immediately knew what she was talking about, and so therefore I immediately knew what they were thinking, and my heart sank and everything. And so immediately, I talked to her, and I let her talk to the doctor a little bit more and everything. And then when they got back, we discussed the stuff, and later on that evening, we got a call that we definitely were going to St. Jude's, and that so I started letting people know, and the family and everything, and we had people immediately start praying for us, and we were trying to plan and everything else, and we hadn't at that point seen the tumor or anything like that, but we knew that there was a tumor, and that it was about the size of a baseball. So we didn't get to see it until we met with the doctors at St. Jude. But here was the MRI that they had taken in Ruston, and the whole bone right there is affected and everything. And so if you've ever seen Connor, you know that he's got kind of small stature and everything. So having something the size of a baseball is pretty bad. Having that in anybody, but so those couple days, that Friday and Saturday, all the scenarios could go through my head, went through my head, and we were trying to stay strong for Connor and everything, and remain positive until we got there and we got the results. And we knew that once we got there, that everything would be taken care of, that he was in the best care possible and everything. And but when I woke up that Sunday morning, my feet did not want to touch the floor, because I knew once I did that, we were going to go to church and we were going to eat with the family, and then we were heading to St. Jude's, and it was just so real and unsettling and everything. And I was a nervous wreck, and you know, um, Connor had told me earlier that he knew that he was going up there. He was going to get his shoulder fixed, and everything was going to be fine. And he stood on that. So I'm very proud of him, and everything for his faith and strength that he's had through this ordeal. So everybody at the church was praying for us and everything, and we had people all over Minden praying for us and giving us words of encouragement and support. We knew from our research that from doing events for St. Jude's, that once we got there, that we didn't have to worry about money as far as lodging or anything like that. We were worried about getting up there and everything, and I knew between my family and friends and stuff like that, that wasn't going to be a problem. But my daughter took it upon herself to do a Facebook fundraiser. I set it for $200, just so that way we had meals and gas to get up there and everything and get back. And like Minden always does for St. Jude's, they rallied behind it, and we were extremely humbled by the love and support that we got from that. I mean, he did really good, and we at that point weren't really even thinking, the fact that our bills and stuff like that were going to continue, and so that was a big blessing. So we didn't have to worry about that while we were. I mean, my wife, with her work, she has vacation and sick time and stuff like that. So, but me, I'm not working, I'm not getting paid. So, that was tremendous help. So, anyway, back to the rest of this. So we left Minden, heading to St. Jude's. It's about a 5.5, 6 hour drive, depending on your pit stops and everything. We got there. We knew the place we were staying at, so that's what I put in my GPS. And like I said, after leaving church and talking with people and everything, I had more of a peace than what I did. And then when I pulled up, I was overwhelmed at the size, because I passed by St. Jude's multiple times when I was younger, when to visit my grandmother and everything. But the scope of this place is unreal. It's like a giant gated community, and so it was a little, and again, it was real that we were there and why we were there. But the moment that we pulled up, and we pulled up to the wrong gate, we were put at ease by some of the most polite and professional people. I mean, that whole staff, from security guards to the transport drivers to maintenance to doctors, cooks, the whole staff, they are just tremendous people that care, and that they're there to put the parents and the kids at ease as much as possible and give them a sense of normalcy. and everything, and to feel loved and cared for. And I can't even put it into words at how great they are. That doesn't even seem like a good enough explanation of how awesome they are. Um, so we were lost. And the security guard at the gate told us to do the U-turn and how to get to where we needed to get to. So we get to that gate. That guy was polite and told us how to get to where we needed to go and everything else. We walk in to St. Jude's, and you know, it is a massive place. So um, this picture right here was taken from one of the parking spots of the main St. Jude building, and like I said, it is massive and a well-kept, well-run facility. And like I said, everybody in there is just awesome. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I can't stress enough how awesome these guys are. So after we got him registered and they did his stuff, it was time for us to go back to the hotel, the Tri Delta, which is on their campus and everything. And we asked the front desk, the security people, what was the best way to get over there. And one of the drivers of the shuttle bus was like, hey, I can take y'all just follow me and everything else. So he showed us how to get over there, and was, he didn't have to, he didn't have any people to take or anything like that, but he did that because he knew how frazzled we were and all the different stuff we were going through. And he did it, and wasn't upset, wasn't inconvenienced by it or anything like that. So, and this is the Tri Delta building from parking lot and everything. A 5-story housing for short-term patients who were there for less than a week. And then they have a couple other options for families that are there a little bit more long-term. And this last trip we went, the Tri Delta was full, so they put us up at the Sheraton, which was about a mile so up the road and everything. And like I said, it's a tremendous organization. So we were in the Tri Delta to the main building is in walking distance. So most of the time we walked and everything. So Connor put it best with the fact that they gave him a medical number, and every time we come in the gate, we have to give it. Every time he goes to a different location, he has to give it. But never once did me or Sonia feel like they were treating him like a number, and never did he feel like it. It's like, it's a way that it go. But right after that, it's, he never once felt like he was just a number or just a patient, or, you can see that they genuinely care. They have that first couple of days that we were there, because of how big it is, they have what they call nurse navigators that were helping us navigate the building and get to our different appointments and everything. And they were super friendly. As a matter of fact, they seen us a couple times. We had 2 different ones. And that wasn't even their normal job. They were filling in for someone else. But they seen us at later points, and asked how everything was going, and if we needed anything. Like I said, super friendly. Um, they have uh, a real good staff that cares for kids, and I've wanted to go there before, um, and but not under these circumstances. It's just it's all inspiring as far as how great they are. Um, and I've got a couple other pictures from in there. This was the um, one of the gift shops they have that the items sold in there goes to help fund St. Jude's. Um, the shirt that I'm wearing right now came from there. Here's a picture of Sonia and Connor um, at a little garden area that they have out in between some of the buildings and stuff like that. Um, Here's a picture of, because when we first got there, it was right there at Christmas time was just over, so they still had the holiday decorations up. So we convinced Connor to take a seat in the little candy cane chair, and that's kind of where Connor the Conqueror, because after I looked at the picture, the look on his face just looked like determined and like he just conquered something, in this instance, probably Candyland, but we kind of went with that as a way to keep our hopes up and confidence and everything. And so, um, I've talked about how great these people are and everything, um, but the community of Memphis also stands behind St. Jude's. So when the families aren't being treated, if the patients aren't being treated and they got some free time or whatever, uh, there are several places around the Memphis area that allow those patients uh, when they're wearing they got an activity bracelet that they get from registration, St. Jude's registration, or their medical bracelet, and they either get in free or they get to get a discount and stuff like that. So we had a few of those moments that I'll talk about later. And so at that point, Connor had all these tests. We had our first free day. We come back and we first met with the doctor, and that was when we first got to look at the size of his tumor. And this appointment was the only time, only two times where I seen Connor's face go from being positive to a little bit of concern. And one of them was he's a 15-year-old boy sitting in here with a doctor he just met having a fertility conversation with his parents in the room. And that was just a little bit more of awkwardness. And then the other one was when they stated that he had the possibility of having osteosarcoma. He head dropped back and onto my wife's shoulder, and in about 30 seconds he was back to Connor. He was confident and everything else, and he said it was a major word, and he knew it wasn't good, and he was trying to process it. And he processed it in 30 seconds, like, okay, it doesn't matter, I got this. And it's his faith in God and his faith in the staff at St. Jude's, and he's just been very positive and very upbeat about everything. So he, the doctor assured us that we were going to get to the bottom of it. You know, based on the information that they had so far, they were leaning towards the osteosarcoma, but it was still too early to state. So they ordered the biopsy, which he did that Friday. That we came home, and we went back for another exam and went back, and then in between trip 2 and trip 3, we got a phone call. Or, well, there's this nice little app that St. Jude has that helps the parents keep track of their appointments and everything and all that good stuff. Well, we, I was at work and my phone goes off and several appointments have gotten canceled. They went ahead and pre-scheduled him to have a port put in just in case the biopsy came back and everything. So I looked and there was 3 appointments that disappeared, and they were all 3 dealing with prepping for that, prepping and putting in the port. So I was about to call Sonia, and Sonia called me, and we were like, this could be a good sign, and everything. And so she's like, do we wait? I was like, no, call. So she called him, and she talked to the nurse practitioner of Dr. Bishop's, and he stated that the biopsy results came back. Or maybe she talked to Dr. Bishop. I don't remember who she talked to. But anyway, whoever she talked to stated that the results came back and it was non-cancerous. It was benign, and what it is called giant cell tumor of bone. It's a very rare, aggressive tumor that it destroys the bone area that it's at, and only like 1 in a million. From one of the things I read, only like 1 in a million cases are found a year or something like that. So it's extremely rare. So they say we talk more, at our appointment Friday. So we went back up there and they gave us a rundown and the different possibilities of treatments and stuff like that. They stated that in the past that the treatments, there was 2 options. One, going in there and cutting out the bone and replacing it with an artificial bone, and the other was going in and cutting out the tumor and drilling out affected areas and filling it with a compound and then bone graft. And then as it stood, they felt like if we just went for the surgery options, that they would have to go in and replace his shoulder, because they're afraid that not enough viable bone would be there for the graft. But luckily, we were blessed enough that there is a third option, which is the route they wanted to go. Fairly new drug that will be injected. So he's got to get shots for the next couple months. That should shrink the size of the tumor and kind of help with some of that. So if he does have surgery, that maybe the second option is now viable and everything. So he just started that this week, and or he's got to have shots for the next couple of weeks, and then going from there, he will have them once a month, several months, and then after I think around April or whatever, we'll go back to Memphis, St. Jude's, where they will run new scans and new tests and stuff like that, and compare them and see how he's responding to the medication. So for the next couple weeks and shots that in between our next visit with him, we'll be able to do it at an affiliate hospital in Shreveport, so we won't have to drive as far. Uh, only 45 minutes versus almost 6 hours. So uh, he's got to do physical therapy, and with some of the side effects of this drug, we've got to build up his calcium. So he's having to take calcium supplements with vitamin D and stuff like that. So he's got a long road, but like I said, he's been very, very positive about it. When we told him what the doctor stated, I was excited. Sonia was excited. He kind of shrugged his shoulders and was like, "And I told y'all." So he's been great. I'm humbled by the strength that he's had, the confidence that he has had through this whole ordeal. So I wanted to get that out now. Like I said, it's the whole community gets behind them. So there is a giant Bass Pro inside this pyramid. That's all it is a Bass Pro Shop. But one of the things in there is a freestanding elevator that takes you up 300 plus feet, and you get to do a lookout. So Connor got to do that and see Memphis, and that was the first full day that we were there after he did his doctor visits and everything. He wanted to go, and on the elevator ride up, he was having second thoughts because him and Sonia aren't very big on high places. Me, it didn't bother. I thought it was cool. And then that Wednesday, New Year's Day, we got to go and do a day at the zoo, and he enjoyed that. We got to get in free and go look at all the exhibits, and he enjoyed himself. And this picture was in front of some of the wolves that were there, and some of his favorite animals. So, and then this past time when we went up there, I don't remember what day it was, but we got to go to the Botanic Garden. Of course, it's winter time, so there wasn't a whole lot, but he still enjoyed it. Got to look at different things. He's kind of a science nerd as far as he likes different things like that. And so the day that we went to the zoo afterwards, we went and played a couple rounds of laser tag and mini golf and everything. Like I said, the whole community and staff at St. Jude's are just phenomenal. Connor stated that when he's not being tested and everything, he feels like it's a vacation. Because of how well things are done. He doesn't feel uneasy. He's not a fan of being stuck and having all the labs done, but everybody makes it that much better. He during one of his labs, he gave us a scare. He about passed out, and the staff there reacted real quick and got him taken care of. Honestly, I hate going to a hospital, but and seeing your kid in a hospital especially. But if all hospitals treated patients like St. Jude's, then it would make that much more easy. Their thoughts are, you're already going through something difficult. Why make it worse? They're a very loving staff. They see patients from all over the world. Their research they give out to other medical professions and stuff like that. They don't keep anything to themselves. They don't charge the families. Once you're up there, they I wasn't aware of this, but they reimburse you for your travel. They put you up. They feed you. They give you a little meal card with some money on it, um, and it's phenomenal. Again, all the support that St. Jude gets is not enough. I mean, it's warranted, is what I mean. I mean, it's of all the causes that I've ever helped. You know, I started helping donating to St. Jude's through school when before I was Connor's age, and you know, with our car club I was with, we did fundraisers for St. Jude, and it's just and the Minden community itself, with their St. Jude auction is just phenomenal. The way the community gets behind it, and it's so warranted. It goes to such an awesome cause, and to see firsthand how they are was just amazing. It's not something I ever wanted to experience from this end, but I'm so glad that a hospital like St. Jude's exists. I do encourage you, if you have not ever given to St. Jude's, that you do so, and that if you ever get a chance to go visit as a visitor, I know we've seen several people doing tours and stuff like that. I don't know how that all works, but it is a sight to behold. And if the guys at St. Jude's, his doctor or whatever, sees this, thank y'all so much. I know that it could have been so much worse, and but the amount of love and support we've been shown while we're there is just phenomenal. And I know that as much as I have in the past given to St. Jude's, that that much more now. Any chance that I get will be helping this wonderful organization, whether it's through Game Warriors or personal, whatever. But guys, I'm about to lose it. So, on that note, guys, y'all stay awesome. And I apologize about the delay, but more awesome things are coming. So, as soon as we get everything lined out, we will be back, and we will do more videos, more fundraisers, everything that y'all love about Game Warriors. And until next time, guys, stay awesome. This is Charles Almighty Wraith, and
Wrestler 58.
We hope y'all enjoyed our video and everything. Be sure to check us out on all of our other social media networks, such as YouTube,
Facebook,
Twitch,
Twitter,
Instagram,
and Patreon.
And also be sure to like and share the videos. And all right, until next time, this is Almighty Wraith and
Wrestler 58
saying stay awesome.